Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. Today at the World Cup, we're going to talk about all the action from 4 matches today, including Germany, including Croatia, including Belgium, and including Spain. I'm joined tonight by Chris. Chris, you're a regular on these World Cup shows now, aren't you?
I know, man. I'm doing about at least 1 to 2 a day now. So you lucky people getting me tomorrow as well.
Well, there you go.
So no, it's been all right. Actually, I've managed to catch 1.5 games today. I've seen the highlights of the others. I think Morocco Croatia was pretty dire, to be honest. I saw bits of the highlights, did a bit of a read up around it. It was pretty shite.
Yeah. See, but I guess it's the thing, like I was in work today when that game was on, and I had it on. I was sort of getting in and over, and it looked interesting. Do you know what? I wasn't that impressed with Croatia, I have to say.
No,
They've got an experienced team. Lovren is still there. They've got the midfield, Brozovic, Kovacic, and Modric.
Perisic as well, I think, isn't it?
You expect them lads, you know what you're going to get out of them, and then you from Maric and Perisic and all the usual boys are all there. But I was looking at it, and I was actually more impressed with Morocco at stages, and I was looking at the Moroccan team, and they have Mazraoui on the left wing, even though he's a right full, he's on the left. They had Hakimi on the right. You really going and playing at a high intensity. They look to be really going for it, but overall it was a bit of a damn squib and 0-0. Wait, impressed with anything there, Chris? Or
the game was over. That's the particularly positive about the game. To me, Croatia just looked like a team at the end of a cycle. I think this looks like a World Cup too far for this squad, and I think they're probably trying to build themselves ready for the next tournament, the next World Cup. And I think there's a couple of teams that seem a bit like that, where you sort of going like, they probably got too many on the wrong side of 30, probably like the Liverpool team at the moment. But that's what it looked like. So it wasn't a great game. It wasn't particularly impressive. I mean, to be honest, a lot of the bigger nations have been pretty unimpressive. We've seen a lot of bigger nations going like really slow starts, and we normally get away with it. But you also most of these supposed lesser nations now have a lot of players that play in Europe and South America. So actually, they play similar styles to what these big clubs, these big countries play. So they all know now, well, what's the point of sitting back and getting beat? I may as well go and get beat. It doesn't really matter, which we'll talk about Canada later. I mean, they don't get the result, but they probably get all the credit and all the confidence from it.
Indeed. And people will be like, oh, is our Russian through? That game was a stinkfest. And the action really happens after that one. So we go into game 2 of the day, and it's Germany against Japan. And the Germans go in there, they take a lead. They nearly double that lead going in a half time. Havertz has one disallowed. And you're thinking to yourself, comfortable. Do you know what I mean? And it's nearly like a deja vu with Argentina.
Yeah, very much
from
so.
the other day. And just to say, I bought my son 3 tops for the World Cup. So I got him the Argentina away top. I got him the German top.
It is nice, that German top, to be fair, though.
No, this was a training one. I got him the training one. So that was the 2 of them both giving up 1-0 leads to shock defeat. And the third one I got him was the Brazil one. So no doubt Chiche is shitting himself now, knowing that the jinx is real.
So yeah, me and Kev have the opposite effect, where we keep watching watch along saying he's been shite him, and then we basically Rabiot been shit all game, and he got a goal and assist, and Mbappe's done nothing, then he got a goal and assist. Unfortunately, this tactic never works on our own club, but it seems whoever we say shit does really well.
That's it. But anyway, in the Germany game, so Germany go in there and they take the lead. Ilkay Gundogan penalty. They look comfortable enough, don't they? And with especially Germany in World Cups, Chris, there's an expectation that they'll do what they have to do. They'll get it done. Unless they implode, generally they take care of business. And this looked fairly routine, going in deep into that second half.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was literally the Japan keeper against Germany for probably a good hour or so. He pulls off 2 or 3 really good saves. So it felt a little bit more, unlike the Argentina, Saudi Arabia, it always felt like, well, it's a matter of when Germany get the second. Because they were very dominant and Japan, look, they kept themselves in solid. They would do lot of last ditch tackles, but the keeper was making a lot of saves. The young kid was I'm going to say his name. The Bayern lad,
Musiala.
Yeah, brilliant. Look, brilliant. He nearly scores. He nearly scores one of the best goals you ever see. Jinx passed through and just unfortunately rush of blood to get it over the bar. But you were just going. It's not looking great. It's not looking great for Japan. I think it's just a matter of when Germany score, and then probably the last 20 minutes, Japan seemed to flip a gear. They make a couple of changes and just start to push Germany back. And Germany just didn't seem to react to a side having a go. It did seem to really rattle them. And, Neuer, probably for both goals, especially the first goal, he made a good save just before they score. And then at 1-1, it just felt like a complete switch of momentum. And probably a bit similar to the USA-Wales game. As soon as Wales equalised, you were sort of going, well, if anyone's going to win it now, it probably looks like Wales.
Yeah.
Just ironic, the guy who scores the winner apparently hasn't scored all year, plays for a German club. I thought it's just like the South Korea-Italy game.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I'm just checking there and going through it. The two centre-backs, Yoshida and Itakura, both playing in Germany. The two midfielders, Endo and Tanaka, both playing in Germany. And then Kamada, the attacking midfielder, playing in Germany. And it's something that you touched on there. A lot of these countries do have players playing in these European leagues. And, in years gone by, you would have expected Japan to be coming into a game where, they're all playing in the J League or, maybe some more obscure leagues. But you could really see that sort of European style to the Japanese team. And even if you look at it, no place for former Liverpool favourite Minamino.
Yeah, he came on for the last 20 at 1-0 down. Tomiyasu didn't even start. The
Tomiyasu, and the Brighton lad Matoma didn't start. So Japan have got players that
can hurt you.
They can hurt you. They're good players. They're technical, good players, and you see these little technicians. And it was interesting that I'm looking at that lineup, and they don't obviously. Kamada is that type of player in the sort of number 10 role, but when I'm seeing Taki out and I'm seeing Matoma out, I'm like, I don't know if Japan have enough about them, but they flip the game. They flip it, and it's one of them. I was looking at it, and again in work and looking at it, and Germany, I wanted up, and you're expecting them to saunter through. It's very similar to Argentina. And the next thing I look back, I was doing something, I look back and it's 2-1. I'm like, the fuck is going on here? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's happening?
It's a tight angle, the second goal.
Yeah.
It does well. Look, to be honest, Neuer plays actually quite well. He makes a couple of good saves. But even after getting it to 2-1, Goretzka probably should score to make it 2-2.
Yeah.
Great connection, just wide. So
they had their chances. They had
the chances. I sort of feel like this defeat, though, feels less damaging than the Argentina one. Whereas this felt more like Germany were probably a bit sloppy in front of goal, but had the chances, and you thought, actually, in general play looked all right. Argentina looked really limp and really devoid of any sort of ideas. And as soon as they went a goal down, you just kind of looked at Argentina, kind of just flaked away. Very un-Argentinian, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially with the run they've been on.
Yeah, I'll touch briefly on Argentina. Like, I'm a huge. I want Argentina to win. I'll make no bounds about that. And I still think they have a chance because I think the way the Poland Mexico game goes, no great shakes among them two, and Argentina have to go out and beat both teams, and they'll qualify. But they have to improve on how they played yesterday. But I felt Argentina played very, very low energy. They weren't. It looked like they were just going through in second gear in the first half, and then just couldn't get out of second gear. And Saudi Arabia, obviously, I don't know if the heat and humidity is taking its toll on some players over there. Obviously, Saudi Arabia, it's in their backyard, so they're going to be used to it. But the energy those lads had compared to Argentina. Now, my take on Argentina is they need to make changes to that team because Romero looked off.
He looked injured.
He looked injured there, and Di Maria looked way off. Rodrigo de Paul look way off. You know, these lads that have been solid for them. So maybe you might just need a little tinkering there in the
But if you talk of those three, De Paul and Romero, they haven't played much this year. Romero because of injury. I think De Paul's kind of been bombed out a little bit. At Madrid, so.
And even Di Maria hasn't really done too much either. You know, I think he got injured when he first arrived at Juventus and was sort of working his way back. So, but they look like a team with no energy.
Yeah, because you saw that in the USA Wales game, they're all dropping like flies in the last 10 minutes. But then you look at all the guys who are dropping like flies going, well, he's not playing much, and he's not playing much, and he's not playing much. So I think that's also going to be a telling factor, especially these quick turnarounds.
Yeah, that's it. But we'll go back to today. So Japan, they take a 2-1 lead, and Germany looked a bit desperate then after that, but they get through. And as you said there, the Japanese go on and take the win, but the Germany get, you never want to start off on a defeat, but you're looking at the makeup of that group, and obviously we're going to come on to the next game now in a sec, but again, it'll hark back to Argentina. The way the group fell for them, it's still relatively in their hands. Just go out and do the business. In the German group, Costa Rica play against Spain. Costa Rica.
Nice quiet game, this one.
Yeah. So Costa Rica and Spain, and I seen a comment there from MC. Evening, gents, would love to know, Keith and Chris, would you say Spain have a good chance of the World Cup this year? So many exciting talents. And look, I didn't think so going into the tournament. I just felt the no striker thing will hurt them. I don't know where they're going to get the goals from.
And then I thought the same, and then they put 7.
Yeah, and look like the goals from all over the place. But I suppose we have to take into consideration the opposition there, don't we? We have to look at Costa Rica, an aging team.
Navas had a bit of a stinker as well. Most experienced player, but 2 of those goals are really, keeper howlers a little bit.
Yeah. He's still at PSG, is he?
Yeah, he's a backup, isn't he?
He's not getting the games. And
Brian Oviedo's still there, and he was pretty garbage at Everton, and he wasn't much better at Sunderland, to be honest. So,
yeah, Brian Ruiz, late 30s, these boys. And while experience does count for an awful lot, when you're getting legged all over the pitch by 18 and 19-year-old lads that just want to run at you,
and you think you'd have an opportunity when you got Rodri at centre back, because Rodri, look, he's a really, really good player, but he's a DM, and we've seen both for Liverpool and for City, the DM at centre back experiment doesn't work very often, and it eventually gets you caught out. So I thought that you'd think that would be an opportunity, because I was surprised he didn't go Rodri DM. Maybe going with Eric Garcia at centre back, because I think Rodri's in better form than Busquets.
Busquets the captain, but that's the thing.
That's the problem.
The captain, and he's in. But Rodri has played centre back before. It's not a problem. And I suppose if you're in a game where you're going to have all the ball and the threat isn't there, it'd be interesting to see how they go forward with that.
They got Germany next. Are you going to do Rodri centre back at Germany?
But then again, the issue with Spain, I thought, having no strikers, and where did the goals come from? Germany. Everywhere. Where are the goals coming from for Germany? Do you know what I mean? Like, they're starting Kai Havertz, and I like Kai Havertz as a player. I think he's a decent player, but I don't think he's a lone striker. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's going to get the goals. I think he needs to be playing off a forward. But
they've got lots of very good link players and flair wingers, but they're not wingers like in the Sadio Mane camp or the Mahrez camp, where you go, the wingers, but they also bang in consistently big numbers. Sané's coming back from injury as well. I mean, Sewell, I've never rated. I don't see the hype. I think he's a big lump. I just don't think he's.
And the fact he's now a right back, it'd be worrying. You know what I mean? Like, it's
it doesn't work for me. He doesn't look athletic enough to be a right back, so it feels like it's an obvious weeks to go for. But the star of the show of that game was Gavi. Oh my word!
Could talk about him all day. He's a sensational footballer. And
youngest ever goal scorer as well for Spain in the
the youngest goal scorer in LA, isn't he, in the World Cup? Like, he's there's
his goal is ridiculous though.
Yeah,
volley, volley outside the boot, posting in.
It reminded me a bit of Mane's against Man City in the the semi-final of the cup, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think aesthetically, this just looked nicer.
Yeah,
but it's ridiculous because he's only, what was he, 18?
18, yeah.
Outrageously good. I mean, you got
But
Pedri the other side is also
yeah,
ridiculously good. He's just that little bit older, but you can see that's where the excitement is with Spain. The question is for those is how will they do against a more established, bigger nation? Because we have seen with the Barcelona guys, they've done okay, they've done well in La Liga, but when it comes to Champions League and big Champions League games, they have struggled or just been a little bit quiet. Now, listen, he's 18, so
it'll be interesting.
He should be expected to win at 18, but
yeah, but in the next game, they're gonna, as you said, we're going to be playing against Germany, and you're going to be in the midfield against Joshua Kimmich and Ilkay Gundogan or Leon Goretzka, and they're wily pros, and it'll be interesting to see how Spain match up there. But you touched on Musiala for Germany being exciting. Jude Bellingham for England, 19 years old. Pedri, 19 years old. Gavi, 18 years old. And you're seeing these boys, and they play without fear. You know, they play. We were chatting, me, Shawnee, and Gav were chatting earlier, and Shawnee said they're like two veterans. Do you know what I mean? They're like two 30+ players, so intelligent and so clever with the ball. And they just always want it. They never go hiding. And this breed of young players that are out there, it's an exciting time. And do you feel that this World Cup could be the breakout of all these? Obviously, a lot of them are already there in Champions League terms, you know. They're all playing regular Champions League, but on the world stage, is this the chance? Is this going to be the World Cup where we're looking back at the likes of Gavi, at the likes of Pedri, at the likes of Musiala, at the likes of Bellingham, similar to Mbappe, I suppose, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I think the difference is there's a no fear part of it, but the difference between elite young players and very good young players, which come through, is these aren't playing what I would call academy football, where what they do is it's technically very good, you know, all the right ingredients are there, but it's very robotic.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. It's very, these are playing risky football, but with a purpose. They're not just doing 95% pass completion because just go side back, just keep recycling it. And there's a time for that. But I do find a lot of younger academy players because that's all you get. Which you go, it's fine for a group game in the Champions League, or it's fine for against lower sides. But to kick on, you've got to be able to have that step up and that movements and that risk. Or we don't see it as a risk, but that bigger picture, which they all have. They don't think of as a risk as I can ping this 40, 50 yards, or I could play this clever through ball. That's just natural because that's the right pass. But I think a lot of youngsters who come through are taught to play, in my opinion, safe, too safe, which I think hurts them. And that sometimes it takes 3 or 4 years to knock that out of them.
Yeah, it's very true. And these, especially the two Spanish lads. I mean, we've seen Barcelona academy players, and I know Pedri didn't come through the academy, but he's in that sort of mold. We've seen it before. They're taught to play without fear and as you say, not play them safe balls. But you're looking at them two today, 18 and 19 years old, and it was just absolutely lovely to watch. Again, we'll take the opposition into consideration here, so we will see how they go against Germany. But they did spread their goals around today, and the front three, and this is where I felt Spain fall down before the tournament. I'm like, who's gonna play up forward? I'm looking at their squad and I'm thinking, well, it's gonna be Morata, isn't it? And who's gonna be the two around them? And he goes today. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because I'm with you, Morata. I'm like, doesn't do it for me at all. Never has done, but he's got a great agent. But it's the Ferran Torres from the middle. Yeah, Ferran Torres through the middle, which is what City tried to do with him, and he just didn't seem to. I don't know why he just didn't seem to settle at City because he's a very what you call a City type player.
Yeah.
But that's the one benefit of that front three. It's very fluid, and if you get it right, Liverpool have done it with a front three in the past. City did it when they had the Aguero. I mean, although Aguero is more of a number 9, he's still a very fluid. Even younger days, very fluid player. So it'd be interesting. Are we going to go back to the fluid front three? Because it seems to be a lot of clubs are going more to the traditional number 9. Liverpool's doing it with Haaland. We're doing it with Nunez. Lewandowski. For for
Vlahovic as
Barcelona.
well. Like
Vlahovic for
Juventus.
Juventus. You kind of thought it feels like the traditional number 9's becoming
Benzema wins Ballon d'Or. So yeah, you're right. That sort of
well, traditional number 9's in it's a central number 9, but it's a number 9 with pace and movement, not the old style number 9, which just stays in the middle and that's it.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's coming from all over the place now. The first goal today I thought was a beaut. I thought Dani Olmo, I thought he was a threat throughout for Spain. And you know, they're playing their front line is Olmo, it's Ferran Torres, and it's Asensio. And I was a bit skeptical of it, but they were excellent today, weren't they? They were all over the place. They were getting the runs that they needed from their wide players. So they need, I suppose, if you're playing a false 9, you need your wide players to be getting into the space. Like Bobby always done for Liverpool. He drops into space, and Salah and Mane were exploiting the space that Bobby was creating. So you need to be doing that. And I felt their wide players were brilliant at that. And their midfield players are getting into the box. And they just absolutely swarmed the Costa Ricans, who had no answer for it.
Definitely. And with Jono, though, a midfielder wearing number 9, it's like, but when Barros used to wear number 5, it does proper do, it does do your OCD. And I've also seen any some cost setup. Yeah, this is the after effects of the joys of COVID.
Oh,
yeah, been and gone, but I just can't shake the cough off, which is really annoying.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I wish Gav had told me that when lined me up to do a pod, which I would have refused. But however,
but the other thing I would say is we said with Spain, you have to take the opposition into account. You do to a point. But we are now getting to the point we're going, with the exception of England. England, that's a beat was an average Iran side. Spain have beat a very average Costa Rica side. But then you're going, Saudi Arabia aren't a great side. Japan is solid, but they're a side that Germany should beat them. We'll get to the Canada game in a minute. You would expect Belgium to walk over Canada. We're now starting to see a lot of big countries going. They've had a lot of what you would call on paper gimmies, and they're actually becoming quite big slogs. So I suppose you've got to flip it the other way of going, well, this could have been a bit of a slog, but actually just put them to the sword really well, which is a clinical thing that I would probably say some of the Spanish media weren't expecting to happen. They were expecting this to be a bit more of a slog, and I've even seen some people saying maybe we'll get out the group. That'll probably be about it. That seems to be the expectation in Spain. They're really low on this side, despite all the talent.
All the talent and a good manager in Rica as well. And I suppose they're ones to watch. Do you think they can go all the way, or do you think they can go further than maybe the expectation was?
I think that they feel like a quarterfinal side probably. I sort of feel I don't think they're quite right at centre back, because I think eventually you'll need to move Rodri to the middle, and then I think it is like an Eric Garcia who's not had a great season. And as well as that front three did, I do think against the better sides they might struggle. Listen, they'll end up winning it now, and I'll look really stupid. But you know what? I've been doing a lot of that recently, getting it wrong. So I'll just wear it if they do. But they don't feel like, they just feel like, I feel like a better side, like a Brazil or an on-form Argentina, or will probably pick them off. That's how I feel about them. But I think they're a side that the likes of Brazil and Argentina particularly wouldn't want to play, because it'd be a pain in the ass game for them. But I don't feel they have quite enough. It feels like a tournament too early for them.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it'll be interesting to see how they do against Germany, because while Germany do lose today, will that Spanish front three get as much joy out of a Nicolas Sula, who we both agreed is a bit of a pudding, but he's a big lump and he can knock you as well. But Slotterback and Rudiger in the centre backs and David Raum at left back, it's going to be a solid German defense. And then with Gundogan and Kimmich in there as well, you're looking like it's a much more solid team. And will they get the time on the ball to play? Will their inexperience show? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But they absolutely slaughtered Costa Rica today. I want to move on to the third game now.
We're getting called out here, Keith.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the amazingness of Anthony Gordon got a hat trick in a friendly. We're obviously being a bit too bitter about him.
What a man!
What a man!
Do you know what I love about Everton? What I love about Everton is they absolutely dive on an idol, dive on it, and when said idol walks,
they wanted to lynch him in the summer when he was looking to move to Chelsea. It's funny.
Richarlison as well, and Rooney back in the day, and so many of them. They always say no, he's the next big thing, and then boom, they're gone.
But they wouldn't.
Avo's just said there, one love, one heart. Let's get together and kick FIFA out. And yeah, as you may see, we do have one love on the top of the show, there on top of the banner there. And obviously, we're not sponsored by One Love, but we are certainly promoting the message of One Love. And I've seen in the German game today that they gonna cover their mouths and protest. What you've probably discussed it till the cows come home, but what are you making of the decision of the teams not to wear the armbands?
I can see why they're not doing it because of the fine. I actually think it's the yellow card thing. That's what's put them off.
Yeah.
But there is also probably going, if you are going to do a protest, you can have to accept that a protest's not easy. So you will rub someone the wrong way. So I think the interview, for life, I cannot remember the lady's name now, but she went to watch the Wales game, and she couldn't get in because she had a rainbow hat on, and a rainbow t-shirt, and the base said you need to take that hat off because that's a banned symbol, or you can't come in. So she went, I'm not going in, and she's an ex Wales captain.
Yeah,
and she just said like, I have a reason I want to protest, and I can't just say, oh well, they said I can't come in the footy, so I best stop then. He said you've got to sometimes do it, which thinking it's a long way to go, but it's funny because it's weird. You had the referee checking the armband to make sure it wasn't with his yellow card ready. I mean, look, I don't blame the official because he knows he's under a mandate. If he doesn't do it, he gets kicked. He loses his job and he gets kicked out.
Exactly. So but where does it come from? Who would you blame on this? Because FIFA talk about you can't bring politics into football. This isn't politics. Do you know what I mean? The World Cup is an open. It's meant to be the tournament of everybody. And you've seen that nonsense from Infantino the other day. Today I'm Arab, today I'm gay, today I'm straight away. You're getting a yellow card if you attempt to put a message on an armband. It's crazy. Like FIFA intervening and threatening sport and sanctions is a bit crazy.
Yeah, it's a strange one because it's a mixed message. Because I've seen the argument, well, if you're in that country, you've got to respect their wishes and you've got to respect their culture. But if you do it a FIFA World Cup, it is to bring all different cultures together. So at the same time, if your culture doesn't agree with that, which for a lot of us it doesn't, but then you're suppressing somebody else's culture, saying, well, your culture doesn't work with what FIFA wants, so you can't do yours, but this one can.
Yeah.
I think some of the people in the rich seats had some sort of armband for some other belief. I can't remember what theirs was. Because, well, they're allowed to do that though. And listen, I don't know what their armband was for. That's their choice. But you can't do it for one, not do it for another.
Yeah.
So
that's it. But
the hand on the mouth thing, I actually thought was quite a cute and clever way of doing it because you can't censor that.
Yeah.
Because even if you don't want to show it on camera, well, there's loads of people taking photos of it.
And the pictures are going to go around the world.
And it's digital. So everyone's going to go, why have they got a hand in the mouth? And say, well, they can't voice their opinion because they're told if I voice my opinion, I'll get a ban, I'll get a fine, I'll be banned for the next game. So this is our way of doing it. So I thought it was quite a clever way of, still making your point.
I think it's something that, look, my personal belief on this is, you do have to respect the traditions and the ways of countries, and especially the Middle East. It's totally different than how it is in the West. But at the same time, you touched on it there. The World Cup is about bringing everybody together. It's about diversity. It's about, everybody under one umbrella. And I think there has to be some sort of meat in the middle. And I think what Qatar are doing with this World Cup is that they're not going to have any legacy from this World Cup. That everything is going against them. My missus only asked me today, "Is no one going to watch these because all the stadiums are empty?" Do you know what I mean? Like there's loads of empty seats.
The capacity numbers are now like the old WWF.
Yeah,
it's a record attendance. I mean, they've said some stadiums of 45,000 people, and you go, well, there's two things. One, it looks half empty, and two, the stadium's only registered to hold 40. So where these extra 5,000 magically appeared from? It's saying that can't hold them. It's very weird.
Yeah, that's it. It's not like people.
As Megan points out, Infantino, he's getting re-elected unopposed.
Yeah, And when he came in, he was the white knight to save the day. And it turns out it's just a corrupt organisation, in fairness, and whoever he is.
It's just a different wolf. That's all
exactly.
it is. Different wolves walked in and everyone sees it.
Yeah, I think I seen Roy Keane talking about the thing, it shouldn't have been given to Qatar. If you're not willing to, not loosen your traditions, to accommodate other people's traditions, they shouldn't have got it, but they did, and it is what it is. I want to move on now to the final game of the day, and this was a great game.
Oh, it's brilliant. This is
one team.
For one team. But this is also a game where stats go berserk. Where you're going like, if you didn't see your XG and all that sort of, basically every stat you read on this game or what you do the eye test says Canada should have got at least a draw out of this game.
Yeah.
Probably had enough chances to win it. But unfortunately, they weren't clinical enough. They just weren't clinical enough. But it'd be interesting how both teams say, because Belgium will go, thank fuck we got the win. But we need to get a proper kick up the arse, because you can't be playing like that against the better side. And Canada will go, and I quite like the manager at the end of it. He was just like, the mission statement, which as Vinod's phrase is, was to top the group. We failed that. He said, but I'm so proud of it because we did everything we should have done. Now the task is to go and, I think his phrase was F Croatia, which I thought probably not quite the right phrase.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that he wasn't like, oh, we've come here, we've played our part, and it's nice. It was very much not a, it's nice to be here. It's a really pissed off we haven't won.
Yeah.
And I think that's the positivity you should go with, because, Alfonso Davis, Jonathan David was excellent. I
thought your man was brilliant, Buchanan,
that's the one I couldn't think of his name. They look great. just not clinical enough. And they get the penalty. And unfortunately, it's just a very weak penalty.
It's an awful penalty. Yeah. I know when you miss it, it's always awful. If the keeper dives the other way, it's a great penalty. Do you know what I mean? But he's hitting it, too close.
It feels very telegraphed when you watched it.
Yeah.
But I think it's only the third penalty he's ever took in his career.
Yeah.
Which I get, because he is the star man, but there's also me sort of going, but Jonathan David's a striker and he has took more penalties. He has missed them as well. I think his record's like 9 in 12 from what I read earlier. But he's kind of thought, isn't that the more recognised penalty? And listen, maybe because he's a Bayern Munich player. He's played in really big games. They just thought, obviously pre-arranged, go with an experienced player, but it didn't fall for him. And as our Alison points out, Liam Miller came on as well, ex-Liverpool.
Yeah. And
I forgot, he's only 23. He's had a hard paper round.
Did he come on?
Yeah, he came on for the last 20 minutes. Yeah, he did okay until he came to the...
I'm assuming our Alison's talking about the defender, Miller, who was brilliant at the back.
No, the forward, Liam Miller.
Yeah, but he's not talking about Liam Miller. He's talking about Kamal Miller, I think. Is that his name?
Oh, is it? Because I know Liam Miller came on.
Kamal Miller at the back was excellent for Canada as well.
Yeah.
But the penalty comes, and it's a clear penalty. It's a handball by Carrasco. Is it Carrasco? Yeah, it's Carrasco.
I would say it's a modern day penalty, because it's one of those ones where he's turned side on.
And his arm is thrown out.
I don't think it's thrown out because he's got his elbow there, so it's only that part of it's only half his arm that's out.
It's as clear a penalty as you'll see, until about 5 minutes later when they should have got a second penalty.
I think that's more clear. I think that's more Stonewall than the one they got.
Yeah, it's more Stonewall than the other Stonewall one, but this one was outrageous, because it's a back pass or a ball played back by a Belgian player with no Canadian player near him. And the linesman just flags for the offside, and it's an absolute, he gets taken out, and the ref is looking. And what drives you mad here is, if the ref knows the rules here and sees that that's not a Canadian player hitting that ball, forget about the linesman, play away. And then we're going to go to the thing to look. But that's the ref who at AFCON last year.
I was going to say, he's my favourite ref. He blew up a game in 85 minutes, got told he'd blown up early. So he restarted again and blew up in 89. And he said, "Oh, sorry, I'll start it again." And the other team went, "Oh, fuck it, I've had enough." And the other team walked off. Went,
"Yeah,
we'll just take the loss."
But he he claimed he had heat stroke in that game, and that's why he was close to dying. He was on the verge of a coma, and God saved him. Crazy stuff. But this is the level of officiating that you're getting. And one thing that I do sort of find a bit patronising is when people will always go, African refs, they shouldn't be there, or Asian refs, they shouldn't be there. We do nothing but give out about English refs every week.
They're horrific.
Do you know
But
what
the
I
thing
mean?
is, when we look at the referees in Champions League, are a lot better. Some of them are referees from not the big leagues. They're not all from the Italian league, the Spanish league. They are
Slovenia or
from Slovenia,
Hungary, and
but they tend to be better referees than the shite we get. So I mean, we can't say anything because the Premier League refs are horrific.
Yeah, but you're looking at, so when you know that this ref is a bit of a madman who blows up regularly, and he's looking at that and he doesn't say play on, that would drive me mad. It's basic understanding of the rules of the game, isn't it? Because that's a stonewall penalty. That's Ekman, absolute stonewall.
And you'd like to think they'd have got one of them in.
Yeah,
as good as Costa is. Then look, Costa was excellent. As we sadly found out the Champions League final, he was excellent against us. But
there's only so many times you'll save a penalty. Do you know what I mean? And the percentage, the favor is with the attacker, isn't it? So you get the first one, you take a stinker, you get a second one, you have a chance. And they should have got a third one as well. They should have got a third one. Axel Witsel stamps on your man's foot when he's in the box and pushes him over, and that goes to VAR.
I know. It's almost like they go, we've give one, we can't give another one. It was a fair, very good. And look, he takes his goal well, Batshuayi, but that was literally pretty much the only thing Belgium
did. A long ball. I done a tweet, right? I literally done a tweet giving out about the 3 penalty decisions, and I'm saying, don't want to jinx it, but Canada look amazing. Literally, the ball was getting played when I hit tweet.
Always the way, in it.
And they went up and scored. A nice finish by Batshuayi, but they were piss. And the second half, they weren't any better. Do you know what I mean? So it goes in and it goes on. And it's just Canada attacking. And I thought Kevin De Bruyne was poisoned today. I thought he was awful.
He got man of the match,
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair to Kevin De Bruyne, apparently he's been interviewed today, and he basically said, I didn't think I had a good game. They said, I don't know why I've got this. I said, I assume is it because of my surname? Yeah. And he called, so that's basically calling out going, you got to give this because my name's Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
He said, he basically said, I was shite today. It was almost like saying, I shouldn't have this.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was terrible. I thought you expect these superstars to be able to create. I just felt his passing was off. As the second half went on, he got a little bit more into it, but certainly not warranting any bleeding man of the match. It's crazy. Were you impressed with Belgium?
No, absolutely not. Again, they look like a side that I'm going, feels like a World Cup too far for some of these. There's a college players of, Tielemans. I still don't think he's the most mobile. Witsel has been around for a long time, and it's the oldest centre back pair, and you've very experienced, but you're sort of going, at that point, I'm going, there should be really another centre back now coming in and really pushing these two lads out. I just, Castagna, he's all right. Batshuayi, Batshuayi's your backup striker.
Yeah.
And
Lukaku, I suppose Lukaku was a bit marmite, isn't he? Some people either love him or you hate him. I think he's a decent player, but if he's your main striker, it's not like Batshuayi is there, or I can't even say his full name. Batshuayi is there looking.
Says a lot when I'm doing pronunciation.
Yeah. I know the fella's name. I'm having a bit of a bleeding mare with it today, but it's not like he's brilliant. And Lukaku is, their strikers aren't great. Their centre backs are old. Their midfield, I think there's a lot to be deserved.
A little surprised Trossard's not starting.
Well, that's what I was coming to. Eden Hazard is their captain, and he's playing. I wouldn't have him in that team. I'd have Trossard with his energy and his guile.
Because I'd rather have his brother playing. Torben Hazard.
Yeah. I'd rather have his dad, for fuck's sake, the way he's playing. You know what I mean? Like, he's not great. He's not getting a sniff.
I think he came on. The Everton centre mid, Onana.
Onana came on.
I like it. I think he's a smart signing. by Everton. So, but I think he's definitely that's the future. Like Doku doesn't even get on the pitch. You know, he's a handy option. You know, I'm surprised. You know, someone like him's not getting more of a look in. You know, it does feel a bit like picking names now.
I'm looking at their bench there, and you know, Torgan Hazard doesn't come on. Dries Mertens, Jeremy Doku, and Charles de Ketelaere of AC Milan. You know, and these are creative players. And you're still looking at some, obviously, Dries Mertens, he's one of the old guard, but, you know, Doku, the Ketelaere, you know, young players that probably are, you know, Onana does come on and gives them that bit of energy. But their manager, I think, is going to hold them back. You know, I'm not a fan. I never was a fan of Roberto Martinez before he ended up at Everton. But I can't believe he has that job. You know, I can't believe he's the man that's.
I think they're a bit like probably what England were when they got to the semi-final and the final of the Euros. Is I think you've missed your cycle. I think everything goes in cycles, and it's one of those when you get your opportunity, you got to take it. And I think Belgium's was about 4 or 5 years ago, and they missed it. I think that are just always one of those. You go, some people's dark horse. They're always like a quarterfinal, semi-final side, but you don't ever believe they're going to win. England, I think I sort of put in that category as well. I sort of go, they'll always be a difficult side to play. They'll get to quarters, semis, but I don't truly believe they'll win it. And that's just how they feel. The only good thing, I'll flip it to the England thing because we'll talk about it in a minute, is at least there's a lot more youth coming through in that side with pace and goals. You go, you know, defensively it's still absolute shambles, but at least then you go, you can kind of see where they're going to go when they get a proper manager in charge, not the muppet they've got in charge at the moment.
And so, Olivier's upset as a Belgian. He's getting hurt in his feelings right now. Well, Olivier, do you agree with what we're saying? What Chris especially has said there? Because I agree totally. You know, it does. I think teams are cyclical, and a lot of them players have sort of got all together and maybe have missed their chance. And I don't know. I can't see them going to, you know.
As an England fan, when I gave a shit, which was quite a while ago, the 06 England side under Ericsson was probably the best opportunity they ever had of winning the World Cup. And they had them playing turgid, negative, crappy football. And some of the better players were on the bench. And then you got to the next World Cup, you go, yeah, but they're all too old now. They're all past what we needed. So, you know.
What can you do?
What can you do? So the other thing I want to bring up is, John put us up earlier, is saying hello to us, but just talk about David Johnson, who sadly passed away today. Only 71, very young. You know, so you know, look, he was a very good striker for Liverpool in the 70s. You know, played up front with Keegan, then played up front with Kenny. 5 league titles, 3 European Cups. I think he had an FA Cup in there as well. You know, probably a very underrated legend. You know, and I know that gets thrown a lot, but he was a very good striker. You know, my dad, obviously I before my time, but it's someone, you know, my dad would talk about. And I said, like, he said he was just a nuisance. And he said his pace. He said he'd always get big goals for you, and he always Liverpool put a nice thing about him, talk about his career, and he always says the one he remembers is Motson saying, I think he scores a beauty from outside the box, top corner, and Motson says that's the championship. He said, and that has always stuck with him. He said that I've got that connected with Liverpool, that's championship. And this is a guy who he turned down Liverpool as a kid, went to Everton. And he's loved by it. And the Blues loved him as well. Because he was really good for the Blues. Then he went to Ipswich to play under Bobby Robson. And then he talks a story about Bobby Robson comes to speak to said, Liverpool are interested. What do you think? And apparently his response was, where are my match boots? Yeah. He said, why are you asking that? He goes, well, I need them, said, because when I go up there, I'm not coming back down.
Yeah. It was a different time, wasn't it? You know, it was a simpler time when players were moving between. Obviously, I think he goes back to Everton. Does he, from Liverpool? So he starts at Everton. He goes to Ipswich. He goes from Ipswich to Liverpool. Does he go Liverpool, Everton after that?
I will Google it while we're checking that, because he's talking about the European Cup final. We beat Madrid 1-0, you know, and the famous Kennedy goal. And he says to this day, he said he still says to him, "Why don't you pass to me?" Because when you watch the replay, he's there square screaming at him. He goes, "Why don't you pass me?" He goes, "That was my chance."
Yeah, but they, he's part of a great Liverpool team, around that era. And you said it there. He played with some of the best strikers he had, and he obviously before our time, with the stuff you read and the stuff people tell you, he was a selfless striker. He worked his arse off, and I suppose all of them were in that era for Liverpool.
I think he's quite close to Souness. I haven't seen yet. Apparently, one of the earlier programs, Souness gives a very nice eulogy about David Johnson. I think he is quite choked up by it. You're right, though. He says after it returned to Everton in 1982, and also went on loan to Barnsley.
Yeah.
So I think he also played a bit for Man City as well.
Yeah, but it was a sign of the times that players could play between the two, and he can be respected by the Blues, respected by the Reds, and he had a great career. As you said, he won a lot of medals. He was a key part of a Liverpool team that were sweeping all in front of them, and it's very sad.
148 games for Liverpool, 55 goals. It's not bad, which isn't, not a return to be sniffed at. Capped 8 times for England, scored 6.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's not bad at all. But even his record, Everton, it was 11-49, Ipswich 35 and 136. So he was like a 1 in 3 striker, which of its time,
yeah,
that's today like a game every 1.5 games because that's just the way sport develops. So and look, he had the pace and everything, so he's really good.
Yeah, very sad. So rest in peace to Doc. It's a shame, but we're off that time now when these boys are all tending to pass away. Now your legends of your clubs, and I think it's always good to remember them. And as you said, we never seen him playing, but we know who he is and we're aware of him. And I think it's always nice to acknowledge the ones who went and put the club where they are, and he certainly was one of them. So yeah, very sad. Rest in peace, David Johnson.
Yeah. So are you
go on.
Just tomorrow's games? You look forward to tomorrow's games?
So we got tomorrow.
So tomorrow we've got Switzerland, Cameroon is the early kickoff. Jesus. Uruguay, Korea.
Yeah.
Portugal, Ghana, and then the late game, which me and Kev are doing, Brazil, Serbia. They all feel like games where you could go. Some you'd expect big goals. Some you're going, well, it could be an upset there, or it could be a bit of a difficult game, or you can sort of make an argument either way. We've seen Darwin play would be quite.
Yeah, you know what? I think that'll be the only one I'll end up watching. Will be the Uruguay one. Not out of any, Liverpool. I only want to watch Darwin. I won't get to see the Brazil game because I'll be at training with the young lad, and that's
I'll hopefully
7 to 8. So I definitely won't get any of that.
Yeah, Portugal, Ghana. I've got a feeling that might be quite a good game.
What do you think about Portugal with the whole Ronaldo thing?
It's just another sideshow circus. I think if you're Portugal, it's a bit of a sideshow you could do without, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, he got what he wanted. He got what he wanted with his determination.
But you saw the whole Bruno Fernandes very awkward handshake thing. Yeah. Well, you've already sort of created a division. It almost feels like Portugal are a little bit like, well, he retires after this one, then we can kind of develop into whatever we want to be post Ronaldo, which is going to be a hard transition for them.
I mean, because will it, or do they have the players there? Because I find Portugal are one of these that they seem to be producing a lot of players, and Rafael Leao, for example, is there ready to rock. Jota obviously is injured at the moment. They're no Ronaldo. I'm not saying they're Ronaldo, but sometimes you need these big players that are probably past their best, but they're taking up a lot of the attention, and not in a good way. You know what I mean? Like they're taking away. I think Amorim at Sporting Lisbon, didn't he sort of say, "Oh, we can't afford him publicly. We can't afford his wages." But I think in private, he was more or less saying, "If he comes, I'm gone." Do you know what I mean? Because he's building a team, and if you get Ronaldo, you're essentially ceding your team to him. You're saying,
Chelsea have already sort of let it be known in the press that they're not interested in him. I don't think he'll come to another Premier League club anyway. It will be I think the question now is, does he do the MLS jump now, or
no, Champions League? He is obsessed with extending this Champions League record.
Maybe it was PSG when Messi moves on in the summer.
Yeah.
If the rumours are to be believed, Messi wants his move back to Barca, and PSG don't mind giving it him. So,
well, I mean, it's
that merry-go-round, couldn't it?
The fact that Liverpool are up for sale, Manchester United are now up for sale as well. And PSG, Nasser Al Khalifi came out as well saying that they wouldn't mind getting some, not they weren't up for sale, but some investment. So maybe PSG are going to look at, move Messi on, but we don't want to replace him with Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? They might be looking
possibly
at changing their model.
Yeah. So, David Ornstein apparently has reported a month ago Messi will be going to Inter Miami.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he has too much still to give in Europe, and I think he will go back to Barcelona. But
it's interesting because all these clubs are for investment. Is this because we're just on the verge of potentially on a world recession? They're all going, fucking hell, this lands, we can't actually spend like we used to.
Yeah.
Or
it's interesting,
or there are more eyes on you when there's a recession. Because if you're still spending massive money in a recession, people do really look at you then going, there's something not quite right here. There's something a bit missing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's interesting that PSG are sort of in that mix because they're one of the forebearers of why we're in the shit we're in now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think FSG and the Glazers, I think the Super League sort of was the...
I think that was their last roll of the dice.
The final, yeah. How can you, I don't know, I'll speak about Manchester United, but from a Liverpool point of view, if the valuation of like 3 to 4 billion is correct, how can you grow that? This is the time. But who's going to buy it? Because if you buy Liverpool for 3 or 4 billion, what can you do? How can you get money out of that?
Because you'll be expected to invest that into... Now, for Liverpool, this is the argument between the two is Liverpool, if you're going to buy Liverpool, is to invest in the playing squad and potentially 2 more stands to do. Because the infrastructure is already built, the training ground's done. So a lot of the big work needs to be done. Whereas, to be fair, when you do Man United, it is playing staff. It is probably restructuring behind the scenes, both commercially and football-wise. And it's no secret. They've spent no money on the stadium. They've spent no money on the training facility. They're only doing now.
Yeah, that's it. So, it's a big job. We'll probably end up with the Glazers buying us, for fuck's sake, the way we're going.
There we go.
That's what people want. People want FSG.
The other big game is Reading versus Liverpool women. So I've one eye on the Brazil game, one eye on that.
How are the women's team doing?
It's been I'll be honest, mate. It's been a real struggle, but they've had a really tough start to the season. Disappointing with losing to Villa at home. They actually played well. They just weren't clinical on the day, and an unfortunate decision went against them with the penalty. Brighton, I'll be honest, we weren't great for a good hour. 3-1 down, but got it to 3-3. Last kick of the game, and they probably should have nicked it. So 4 points at the moment. So below them is Reading on 3, and then Leicester, who can't buy a win at the moment. But it's a weird league because I think from 6 downwards, 2 positive results, you fly up 2-3 positions because the next team above you is only 3 points. And this is the concern for Liverpool, is this run now is the run they need to get some points on, because it's Reading who are just below you, West Ham who are only 4 points ahead of us, and Leicester who are bottom of the league. They're the next 3 league games. So
big wins needed in them.
Yeah, definitely. I would say if we came out of that with 7 points, I would pretty much say you probably guaranteed your position for next season.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? They haven't had like huge investment getting back in there. They've brought in a couple of players, but stabilizing them, I think, is
it's steady building. They've bought in lots more experience. So Jill Flaherty, who's now the record appearance holder for the WSL, 176 appearances. Yeah, Van der Sanden, who unfortunately has been injured, but when she's fit, this is a 3-time Champions League winner. So the quality's there for you.
And is Leanne Kiernan back? She's been injured a lot.
No, she's done. Sometime in January, she had to have ankle ligament surgery. So that's what's killed us, is her being out and Van der Sande at the same time. All your pace in the attack's gone.
Yeah.
So you have to change how we work. And as they came back, our 2 of our key midfielders in Kerry Holland and Missy Bowe both get crocked just before the Villa game. So there's also a bit of a unfortunate circumstance. But as the manager said, he goes, they're unfortunate, but we need to find a way to adapt. And luckily, most of them are coming back, bar Kiernan, who, fingers crossed, will be back post-Christmas. So that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Good stuff. So yeah, tomorrow, you're obviously back on doing a watch along, and you'll probably be on doing this as well.
Yeah, probably.
It'll be interesting, as you say. There's some good games there. And what's your standout? Or who are you looking forward to seeing the most tomorrow? Player, club, or player, that team,
I'm
or
actually
what?
the Uruguay game. I'm actually looking forward to because I want to see. I think and I won't lie, it's the Darwin thing. I just want to see how he does because I've said already a few times he might be the dark horse for Golden Boot. Just got a feeling.
Do you think he plays?
I think he does, yeah, because I think he does start a lot for Uruguay, but he starts more on the left wing.
Yeah.
With West, I think suits him, to be honest, at the moment.
Yeah, going more. They're a decent team, Uruguay. They're a bit of a mad team because you'll still have the likes of Godin and you'll have like Suarez, Cavani, all these lads are then Mussolera, all 36, 37 years old. But then you've got Darwin. You've also got Bentancur and Valverde in midfield, and I think that's an exciting midfield. You know, Valverde's an excellent player.
That's someone I'd love. That's the one I'd love at Liverpool. Absolutely,
Valverde. Yeah, we can all but dream.
He's a dream Klopp player. Him playing right side of midfield, or you can play him wide right in the front three. And he's brilliant. He's brilliant just wherever you play him. He's just
play him anywhere.
Yeah. I don't think Real Madrid want to sell him though. Sadly.
No. That ship has sailed. Ship has sailed. He's the future for them.
Yeah, it's very unfair that they don't want to sell him. But
yeah,
we are where we are.
We are indeed. So look, we'll leave it there. We'll call it a night on this. Got an hour out of that. I can't believe it. We done well. Well, 55 minutes, nearly an hour. So Chris will see us all again tomorrow. Who are you doing to watch along with tomorrow?
Me and Kev again. The double act that everyone wants.
That's it, yeah. The Ant and Deck of the LFC Daytrippers. I like that. Yeah, why not? Hopefully a lot more action tomorrow. Hopefully a lot more exciting games.
We did the France game. The France game was good, and the Wales game was exciting because it was quite intriguing because it was so. Basically, as soon as they brought Kiefer Moore on, you just went, "Oh, this is now a game on now."
Lump the ball up to him and get the lads in around them. And it was a game of two halves, that one, wasn't it? Like USA were excellent. They have the youngest squad at the tournament, don't they? So great energy and all that. But
I did my stuff as well when I said, great goal by George Ware. I went, oh no, sorry, it's Timothy Ware, isn't it? George Ware's his uncle.
Yeah,
no, he was very good.
Is that?
But he was. I mean, George Ware was ridiculous, but Timothy Ware was really good.
Yeah,
I was quietly impressed with him. I haven't seen too much of him play, but I thought he was excellent.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's bounced around a couple of teams in France, hasn't he? And just hasn't found his probably his niche. But yeah, I thought that was good. I thought the Wales and USA was interesting. Who was the other one you said you were talking about?
What's the France game?
France.
I was actually impressed.
The one,
yeah. Australia actually made them work for it for an hour. Then I think legs for them went out, and
France, do you know what? I was looking at Australia's squad. They don't really have the quality. But what I wanted to ask you about that, do you think Didier Deschamps is secretly delighted that Benzema got injured?
Possibly, because he can play with more fluidity and pace.
Yeah,
and then he plays Giroud. Which is what he wants.
Comes in, but that's the one he wants. That's who he won the World Cup with, isn't it? So I have this thing that I think he's actually delighted that Benzema.
I mean, a fit Dembele and Mbappe in that wing is ridiculously scary. And Griezmann actually looked really good as a 10.
Yeah, he did. He looked okay, and
I don't know
in midfield. I don't know about Rabiot. I don't know how Rabiot was playing. Kanate looked good up in Meccano.
Upamecano actually look good as well because obviously I've given him pelters in the past. I've not been a big fan, as you know, when we had our chat about him in the Leipzig. I think I said the ball looks like a hand grenade next to him. But to be fair, credit where credit's due, he was excellent. The only sad thing for France is the Hernandez injury. He ruptured his ACL.
Yeah,
which because he looked a bad one when you're going like. Well, the knee he's grabbing is the one that's off the ground. Yeah. So
what's going on?
What's going on there? And he's like, and when you watch the replay, it's obviously when he's pushed off, it's just gone. Yeah. I mean, not that you'd wish it, but in that game, it was the best thing that happened to France because the other Hernandez they brought on,
Theo,
everyone went through him. And he was brilliant.
And he's a different player. Like Lucas Hernandez is a centre back who can play left back and he can attack, but he's a defensive player, whereas Theo's just an attacking left back, and
he was excellent.
He just drives forward. Yeah, he's a great player. He's a very good player. But yeah, look, it'll be interesting to see if some of the games can match that. And as you say, Brazil tomorrow, a lot of expectation around them. Do you fancy Serbia to do anything there? Or do you think Brazil just have too much strength and depth in every position?
I think Brazil have too much strength and depth, I would say, for them. So fancy them. I think Portugal will see off Ghana. You would expect Uruguay to win. I'd probably say the Cameroon Switzerland one's a bit more of a flip of a coin.
Yeah.
Switzerland probably go in the favourites, but I think that'll be a lot closer. Probably of all of them. This is where I find out now they're all like, nothing like that. Cameroon smack them like 8-0 and I'll be going, well, there we go.
I'd fancy Switzerland, to be honest myself. I'd fancy the Swiss. But that's another team that's getting old. That, their cycle is probably coming to an end where they're still relying on, Shaqiri, Xhaka, Ricardo Rodriguez, and, a lot of players, Fabian Schär, a lot of lads that are in there a long, long time. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out and play. But yeah, another day to look forward to. 4 matches a day. It's not bad. Not bad, is it? Pity it wasn't in the summer, but
Yeah, it would have been nice if it was in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. But look, we're leaving it there. That's an hour done. I've been your host, Keith. He's been me sidekick, Chris. We'll see us all again soon.